But now I'd like to invite to the stage three very important and prestigious end clients to talk about AI and their journeys from a client-side perspective. So I'd like to invite to the stage Barry from Microsoft, Ben Niang from Pernod Ricard, and Fenny from Philips. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. We, over the next 20 minutes or so, are going to talk a little bit about how we are dealing with, or thinking about dealing with, or struggling with this thing called AI in our respective companies. To my left, the prestigious one is Finny. Please introduce yourself and answer this first question. What are you doing right now when it's coming to this whole AI thing?
Yeah, thank you, Barry. So my name is Fanny Leontay, and I'm leading the Consumer Insights team within Personal Health, which is the B2C part of Philips. We have a huge B2B part, healthcare part as well, and then I'm not responsible for that. But to answer your question, what do we do to use AI? I think in our internal data, we're using it to get more out of, let's say, the performance data, so marketing mix modeling, for example, because you can go faster. You can scale much easier as well in the insights. More frequent updates, so that drives, let's say, better adoption of marketing mix modeling results as well. But also, for example, in the area of knowledge management. So, you know, the system that we have in place in Philips, I mean, it's a bit the Google search. The search engines were not that strong, but we're now piloting because it's not perfect yet. I mean, we're learning on the job to get more out of all of our past data and reports that we have. I think everybody probably uses it also on passive data, social search. If you think about ratings and reviews, how can you easily find the drivers for kind of the superiority of your proposition? So that's also where it's being applied. And we're piloting and pioneering in, you know, synthetic personas, these type of things. So yeah, just to name a few of the applications.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next, I'll ask the important one. Ben, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on at your company.
Yeah, sure. I'm Ben. I'm from Pernod Ricard Global Travel Retail. I'm in the strategy and insight team. So we're always exploring the new technology or research method to better understand the consumers. Of course, the AI is one of the most important ones, and we are now currently use the AI eye checking to evaluate all the key visuals across different activation. Just like the key visual in the airport, the billboards, or the last 3 feet materials in the stores. So I think we see the beauty of it because we got a very quick turnaround. So comparing to the traditional methodologies, which might need 3 or 4 weeks to get the results, but with the AI tool, we just need perhaps half day to get the results. So, but of course, it doesn't mean that we will replace all of the traditional methodology by the AI things, but we do see the beauty of it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And I'll introduce myself again, Barry Jennings. I work at Microsoft, and I'm in a unique position. I actually work on our services that build AI stuff, and I sit on the research team. And on the research team, we are striving to figure out how do we better leverage all the AI stuff. Portions of AI are, it's pretty wide, variety of things that fit into that bucket, and we've been doing machine learning and leveraging voice and vision and all sorts of other things for a few years now, but this generative AI technology is presenting new and unique opportunities, everything from playing with synthetic sample to using tools like ChatGPT to summarize work really quickly, or to help create really good first drafts of surveys and things like that. It's really good at that. And so right now we're playing a lot. We're trying to figure out where we can innovate, where we can make things more efficient, more effective, making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, and then figuring out what we do next. And then speaking about what's next, I'm curious, Finny, how might you think AI could evolve your function or even your company for that matter?
The company, yes, definitely, because we're in healthcare, so I think it's super important. I will not talk about that because I think it's up to the research guys that are data scientists and into the healthcare territory. If you talk about the function, I think, and it was talked about also by Pepsi, and I think also today it was talked about by New Balance. I think as insight professionals in the company, we should be more end-to-end. That means that we should be, some people called it like marketeers with an insight kind of profession or expertise. And that means that I think AI can help us to do things much faster. It gives you a much quicker readout of the results, could give you maybe a proposal on how to report it in PowerPoint. So it's almost like that we'll get the time back to think and to get to real insights that can shake up the business or really, make a difference. Because now I see my teams spending a lot of time still in setting up projects, executing them. And then the moment, when is the debrief? And yesterday also in a panel discussion was discussed we shouldn't have a debrief anymore because we should be continuously connected. But I think that's where we should, hopefully, we can spend that time on the real insight, so the human touch as well, to make that connection to the business and to really ensure that we take more informed decision making, more human-centric decision making, so that technology will help us to get faster to deeper insights, leveraging way more data that is available, or maybe insights that we're sitting on and we are not even realizing that we have them.
Great. Ben, what about you? What might happen in your world?
I think I pretty expect the AI can help us to better understand the consumers. Because taking an example, I think we use social listening on the social media platform to understand what's the conversation between the consumers. But now I think the technology is quite depends on the capturing the keywords from the conversation. And of course, we do have some sentiment analytics. But out of the cultural background of the consumers, it's quite hard to understand what's their real needs from the conversation. So I think ChatGPT is a very good tool because it's a large language model. So it did help us to understand the people from different cultures, different countries, what's their real needs and how we can better meet their needs.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, there are a couple of areas that we hope the AI technologies can help with. One is just making our researchers more efficient. Like I said earlier, it's really great at creating a good first draft. I am a well-seasoned researcher, that's slang for old, and it takes me a little time to make a really great draft. But if I had an excellent AI-generated assistant who can generate that first draft, one, pretty quickly, and two, really, really well. Not perfect, but really, really well. And I'm really good at taking something that's pretty good and making it just a little bit better. And I think the technologies can be really good at things like that, just making what we do, everything from creating a survey instrument to sometimes helping our stakeholders create a better scoping document. There are lots of ways that might be able to improve how we execute our research function. Additionally, I hope that it will allow us to think up new techniques for doing research. Again, synthetic samples is one thing, but there are other things that we might be able to do leveraging something like a chatbot to engage with either respondents or customers in new ways, or doing that in scale, which we can't really do super well today. Another thing we expect it to do, or hope it will do, is really expand the life of research. I do a ton of qual to this day. And we have tons and tons of videos of IDIs and focus groups, and it's a rich, wonderful research. And if I'm doing a piece of research that says what color should the logo be, but I'll ask 15 more questions, I have a I get my answer to what color should the logo be, and then I never touch that data again. With this generative AI, we should be able to go through all of those videos and ask it other questions that we asked. And that just extends the life, improves the value of the research that we're doing. We're able to query responses from real customers on multiple things and potentially answer multiple questions, making everything just that much more valuable. And on and on and on. I think for us, we don't really know how far we can go. And at least right now, we have permission to play around and mess up a few things, as long as we're not dangerous, and see what we can come up with.
Just to build on what you just said, I think it's, and we get these questions as well. Then marketers come. You have a new a marketeer joining your company and saying, "Oh, I don't know. What's the kind of the feedback of a consumer on this specific product, or what's the ritual? How does it look like? For example, in our case, on tool brushing, or I want a few focus groups on that." So think about it. We're sitting on, let's say, transcripts of a kind of qualitative data of the last few years. I don't think the ritual of a person brushing their teeth is changing significantly. So these type of things, I think, is we're doing over and over kind of the same research to get to those insights, while 3 years back we did maybe something that we can reuse again. So yes, extending the lifetime of what we did already, I think is really would be fantastic if it can work for us. And it doesn't mean that you do less. I think you will be more focused on what you do to generate deeper insights and don't repeat the obvious that we did already.
Yes, I think it's like zero waste. You're extracting the most value out of it. I remember my first days on the job. I printed a lot of things, which I probably shouldn't have done, and I read a ton of documents. It was awesome. And for weeks, I just read everything. I would hope that if I were hired a year from now, I could ask some assistant to summarize the last 3 years worth of work across these 4 or 5 categories and give me a 2-pager per subject, that it would be able to do that, do it well based off of the data that was collected, that we believe in, that we trust, and that we know and have already done, and it spits it out in like 5 minutes, saving me time, energy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think those are some of the possibilities that we'll be able to do at some point once we build all the tools that we need to do.
It could catch also all the obvious questions of marketeers, that we spend all time on now, where we should spend on the time on strategic things. So if we could capture that as well, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I also would like to happy to told by the AI what we don't know, because we do a lot of cons, like a regression to understand what's the purchase intent or purchase drivers, but we keep using the same attributes, do it batch by batch. So I think that's some limitation, and I'm happy if the AI can help on that, we can have more new idea for you.
Sounds cool. I'm going to stick with you real quick, Ben. Our last question. What concerns you when you start thinking about these AI technologies, and conversely, what excites you?
I think we have a quite similar concern. Is AI is more like a black box now, because we don't know what the data is used in the algorithm. So we always say we worry about the rubbish in, rubbish out things. So that's the concern, because we are worried about if the data is biased or not, it will result in an unfair result. And also we are worried about the data privacy as well. So all the data we submit might go into the public area. So we do have a regulation on that.
Got it. What about you, Fanny? Concerns, opportunities, what excites you?
Well, I think what we just discussed is super exciting, because if we can free up time and just get the insights very quickly about everything that we have done already, I think that we're looking for that to free up time to do the thinking. What concerns me is, as you said, rubbish in is rubbish out. So it's also, does it give the obvious answer? So are we still able to find also maybe those kind of really deep insights that maybe are not that obvious, and is the AI able to capture those? So the human aspect, so us interpreting what comes out of AI is still super critical, but there's a danger that maybe everybody is applying it and just take it for granted. There's nobody looking at it anymore, and then it just lives its own life. Yeah. So I think it's not the threat for our profession. I think I don't see any threat, but it's more like, okay, do we use basically the right insight from what the AI has generated to make informed decisions as a business?
It's a great point. It's a great point. I agree about worrying about the job thing. I believe that the AI will be an augmenter. I think I'd be, if I have zero plans of understanding AI and how it could be applied, you might be in a more vulnerable position than a researcher who is engaging to see what they can do with it. And so I think people with the AI, to some degree, will be able to do different things. Will have hopefully more efficiency and be more effective. I think also it can create new opportunity. There's probably a few things that we would always wanted to do, but because of time, because of scale, we've just never been able to do it. And I think these technologies may be able to help us do things more globally faster, or more globally more consistently, or real time. And I'm excited about those types of possibilities. Concerns. I do a lot of B2B research, and so fraud is always a big concern. And this could be a really great tool for doing an even better way of creating fraudulent surveys. We've seen that in some work already. And so making sure we create the right set of standards and techniques in order to be able to identify fraud. I think the AI would probably help with that as well, but that is a concern. Making sure that I know that something is AI generated. I think we need to make sure that everything is watermarked. I wouldn't be upset if a vendor used AI for something. I would be extremely upset if the vendor gave me a report that was generated by some AI and passed it off as, well, here is our stuff, without acknowledging that it was AI generated. To me, that is just poor form and not a great thing for a working relationship. So being very transparent, identifying where the human is and where the AI is in any type of research project, I think will be critical. And I'm sure there are other things that I should be worried about, and we will be learning about what those things might be over time. And speaking of time, we told you this was going to be really quick. We are out of time. On Wednesday, there will be another client AI discussion, a fuller one with 4 Esomar members. Hope you all attend that. Thank you all for your time. Ben, thank you very much. Fanny as well. And I think that's it. Thank you very much, everybody.